There we go. We are back. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Sigil Confidential returns with a continuation of our flip-flopping two-part story of 5 years or so. Yeah, we're going to pick up where we left off last week, ironically. But we're going to flip the script a little bit as the Sigil crew takes kind of the front seat. It's more like a bucket seat, maybe, really, sitting side by side, depending. But yeah, anyway.
We're all in the back of one of the old Land Cruisers where it's just bench seats that face each other.
Oh, yeah. True land yacht.
Good evening, everyone.
But we are here.
Yep.
All right. Well, do we have a recap? Does anyone want to do recap?
Of course. Well, why you ask if we have a recap? Of course we have a recap.
It's the polite thing to do. Always be polite.
All right. So, last time on Sigil Confidential and the Cairn Legacy. The crew decided to try Sinuface Citadel next at Wilhelm's behest, hoping to find supplies that could cure him in Genesis. When a barrier prevented them from entering as opposed to leaving, they backtracked towards Shah's Citadel. There, a void-tainted Bovan she named Morgana greeted them, who desired a taste of Genesis, quite literally, and helped Az obtain the key to Shah's Citadel, telling the crew ominously that the price has already been paid. They once more tried Sinuface Citadel, where the barrier still remained. Many corpses lay on the floor within that looked as if they had perished peacefully in their sleep, and examinations of their spirits showed that they too were asleep, unable to be roused. Listeners and Az's attempts to manipulate the energy of dreams that had enraptured them so knocked them out cold, and others in the crew surmised that there was business to be dealt with in the dream world. Those who went to sleep found themselves in a land of wonder, with no laws governing time or space. They made their way to the lady who ruled the land, one known only as the Orphan. She promised to get the sleeping crew and their friends to where they needed to go if one decided to stay with her forever. Listener, after negotiating the terms, agreed. Everyone then found themselves waking up inside Sinuface Citadel, even those who didn't go to sleep, and nothing could have prepared them for what they found. The corpse of the goddess Sinuface sitting cross-legged, with a bowl of tears shed for her people, the halflings, in her lap. The corpse of the goddess Shah also laid there, for Sinuface had taken her into her care and, as handprints on Shah's neck would show, was also the cause of her demise. With 2 citadels remaining, what revelations await the crew as they head towards the homes of Volry and Zevran? What will Shah's and Sinuface's deaths mean for the future of Cairn? Stick around for those answers and more on Sigil Confidential, the Silent Goddess.
Yay. Was a bit of a revelationary episode.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of big reveals.
Yes.
So tonight is guaranteed to be low-key, chill. Nothing serious could ever happen.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
We still need to find this goddamn key.
Everything will be just fine. So, we stand once again on the dusty, gloom-choked edge of the Mother's Head. Edge makes it sound like you're standing on a cliff, but surface of the Mother's Head. The giant, grinning skull of the primordial goddess, the antecedent mother of all, who created the entire realm from her chaotic death.
Nope. We haven't left Sinufe Citadel.
Are you still in it?
Yes.
Yeah, we're just looking at stuff.
Okay.
On the map we are. Yeah, I would love to just move over to Wilhelm. And be like, hey, come here.
Yes.
Come with me.
Okay. I will follow along. It was. What can I assist you with?
Over here.
Are you guys looking at a map that actually has people on it?
I'm on the Destiny Summit
Oh,
map for Cairn Legacy. I don't know if that's the game we're playing.
No, we're in Sigil tonight, but that's fine. You guys are there. I don't think I have that map carried over onto this one anyway, so that's
Okay,
fine.
yeah, this one has both the characters. That's why I was using it.
It's okay.
Okay.
Difficulties.
It's okay. We're not. I don't think
so-
we're gonna get into any combat or anything. So theater of the mind, we're still there. It's okay.
I'm just
I'll
staring at
switch
a
over.
dome, and I'm like, I'm going with, but I don't have a person.
So, yeah, the Cairn map shows where we physically are positioned better because
Yeah.
it's where we left off last week. But
That's fine.
I walk with you to the north, past Sinufe's corpse, and Genesis kind of gets you sort of to the side here with the Istus, and the Istus hand you the bowl that they found within Sinufe's robes, carefully because it's filled with tears. But you know, it's a very cautious transfer, but like when it needs to happen. Genesis is like, you know, you've been in charge of keeping all of us alive this entire time, so of course the person who should carry these tears would be you. Pretty sure this is your key to bear for this area. It's tough transporting a bowl, dude. I'm sorry.
Don't
Well,
trip.
well, a liquid. I'm not. I feel confident being able to transfer that into containers that I can carry. Once I do that, I want you to have one.
Okay.
I remember the tears we had before, and perhaps I want at least one other person to have it.
Fair.
And I'd like it to be you. And then I would like to start taking the liquid from the bowl and transferring it using my alchemy stuff so that I don't lose any of it into vials and such.
Alright. You sure you want to divide it up?
Yeah.
Is there some reason we would know that we should?
I'll be nice and just say that there's in every one of these citadels that you've come across, you've walked away with a physical quote-unquote key or section of the key. This is the only physical item you found here.
We haven't really looked very hard, though.
So we need to leave the tears in the bowl?
No,
Sloshing around?
I'm just saying, like, dividing them up could cause potential problems if this is the key or section of the key that you needed.
Obviously, Wilhelm should consume the entire bowl.
He could do that.
thus keeping them
in
together.
It's in his charge, so
Well,
I mean, technically.
I will say, and this is me being nice. 1 drop of this will be enough to heal each of you to full.
Hmm.
Wait, 1 drop?
Yep.
Why the hell did we use the whole vial earlier?
I think we just had 1 tier from Sinufe before.
Yeah,
and
we
that was in
we
the
came out with
vial,
like
but-
3 doses or something, and we used them individually.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I'm 80% confident that this is a key. Genesis says, kind of looking at Istu, and Istu's like, why are you looking at me? Like, I don't know. What am I... What? You know, I just got here. What are you talking about keys? They just kind of look at the bowl and frown a bit. Like, imagine walking around with this thing in a bowl. Like, oh god, I spilled the drop. You know,
Suddenly, Brocana comes back to life and consumes all of you.
oh no. Better not waste a single drop.
Why did you wake me?
Like,
Told you not to wake her.
So I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, maybe if you want to bottle it and keep it together with you, like,
My thoughts are, if there is nothing else, that the bowl was the key. And that the liquid was otherwise. But if we can be safe and keep everything together, I can carry a bowl of liquid.
You can't transfer the
just-
entire contents of the liquid into a flask or something if you'd like. That's fine. I'm not gonna make you
yeah,
carry
that's what
a
I was
bowl
thinking.
of
Putting it in the
liquid.
flask would be better. Yeah, putting the flask would be better as long as it's all together in a container.
I can see that. Make a dex save. Make a dex save. Make a dex save.
Oh my god.
That would just be mean. I'm not that mean.
Fair. All right, I'll do what I can to assist with this, and Genesis is actually like excited to watch the process of the fluid transfer, and you can kind of see the liquid being a lot more cohesive than it should be, as she's like directing it to make sure every bit of it gets into the into the vial for you.
Funneling it in psychically.
Right. With these new hydrokinesis powers, I can do anything. Oh my god.
If you guys do want to use a drop to heal yourselves up, like each, that's I intentionally put this there so you could, because you guys are really banged up, and we're ramping things up towards climactic endpoints. And thought it'd be nice, give you a chance to actually heal for once.
Yeah, I think Siasha and Bryn will both take one.
There you go.
It's up to Wilhelm whether or not we do that, though.
True.
He
It's
has
in
the
his
bowl,
possession.
He has the key. It's his.
Wilhelm, what do you say?
I will, as long as I don't feel that it would clack with it, I am very good with that. I especially would like to be in double-digit hit points again.
Yeah, yeah. So
those are good.
if that's the case, then you guys are go ahead and heal physically. Also, two of you in particular might notice
I
that
still have a headache.
your headaches go away.
Yay!
I was
Yo.
hoping for that too.
Oh my god!
Blessed sanity.
Woo!
Genesis gets a side hug when the headache goes
Let's
away.
go! Oh my god.
See, I am a kindly DM.
Yes.
Remember me come Christmas time. So, yeah. That's no problem. You have no problems doing that. We're not going to... Of course, you don't need any rolls or skill checks to do what's happening here. Once again, act of kindness. keep the liquid together. The liquid is the next fragment of the key or whatever.
We were looking for that. That's important.
Yeah. Mainly, like I said, I just don't want to risk messing things up.
So we're on Sigil, the Silent Goddess this time. Okay, I'm getting on that one now.
It's
Had the wrong one launched.
Everything will be transferred into safe. All liquid as a solid will be transferred into a solid container.
okay. So unless
And
you
then-
take like some massive amount of damage or something, like, we won't worry about that.
I work here.
It's not like that's happened a couple times or anything.
I'm sure it's fine. I wouldn't worry.
I store it in my backpack, and the shield is on top of it.
There you go. A shielded backpack. I mean, you can't ask for
Special
much
magic
better.
shield.
You can't ask for much better.
The Istus step over here and they're like, there's a small conversation that goes on between the two, and then one of them nods, and I would like to try to cast a spell.
Okay. What do
Just
we cast?
measure This. Just make sure that we're. Oh.
I do love it when
Okay.
people cast spells.
Oh no. Maybe we'll go like here-ish, you know, where the stairs are going down, like the doorway. Yeah. So I just wanna try to recast this.
I'm not in that. Roll 20. so-
Simulacrum.
Oh,
That's the wrong page.
you're
on the wrong-
recasting it.
Yeah. Just so I don't have to
New
track
name
two different
is
character
threes?
sheets.
I don't think you have more than two, or have more than one, can you?
I'm refreshing it so I don't have to track two different character sheets. for
Okay.
this. All of my updated spells are on the Karen page, so I'll have to import the character again. Let me just put that in the chat here. I'm gonna do the.
I think your
This
old simulacrum kind of dies whenever you recast it, though.
No, I know. I'm aware. That's why I said recast.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
falls back into snow or something, if I remember.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, no problem. We'll just keep in mind that it's been refreshed.
Okay.
And of course, they look at you as if you've completely just ruined their entire day. How could you? A2 is 2. And fall into a pile
Now,
of
well,
death.
you knew this had to happen. We agreed on this.
You knew this was coming. Shut up.
It's a clone. It had to be aware.
So,
I told you the whole time, you're the clone.
It does give the game away as to which one is Istu Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do like an illusion or something to something or other. But
well, before we do
whatever.
anything, and of course you'll need to switch over to the sigil map for this, but give me a D100 roll
Let's freaking go.
as you
All right.
cast this lovely new spell.
Mm-hmm.
Not new spell, but recast this lovely old spell.
Keeping the other things that I've been saying in mind that I do in strategy. 48. Is that low enough?
You're good. No problems.
Oh, come on.
You're good. No problems. I mean, unless you want to intentionally fail it.
Can I succeed and roll on the table, or?
No, it's got to be one or the other.
Oh, all right. Well,
Maybe
Okay.
next time.
yeah. Yeah. So they pop back out of the little stairwell that you walk up in, and they're back out in the courtyard area with the fountain, kind of walking around.
Okay. So what else is going on? What are we doing? Everyone's feeling refreshed, aside from maybe a little inherent sadness in a couple of you.
I'd go with spiritual awe,
Spiritual awe is a good one.
as is appropriate.
I'll go with existential dread.
That's an appropriate
Emotional
one.
damage.
For Az, that's a very appropriate. That's a big reveal for Az, that one. Oh, there you are. All this time.
I'm going to do something potentially sacrilegious.
Oh, this should be good.
Listener examines the bodies, first Sinfei, then Shah, for traces of spiritual activity. Do gods have spirits separate from their physical form? Second question, if they had spirits, have they fled? Where have they gone? These are the sorts of questions.
We're getting into some very deep questions here. So you will discover no trace of like a spectral or spiritual entity. There is some strange power that you're unfamiliar with that does radiate from each body, but it's not a vibrant power. It's like a residual type power.
No, that's just the Newman. Don't worry about that. So if they had spirits, they're certainly not here now, but their flesh is in some way distinct from the flesh of mortal creatures.
Oh yeah, very much. Aside from the fact they're just way bigger than mortal creatures generally are.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, listener's a bit bigger than your average mortal, too, so that might have been less impressive to him.
Well, listeners about the size of maybe Sinufei's leg.
Ah, they big.
Yeah, they're big.
Is there a way I can add the updated IS2 to the sigil board?
You should be able to transfer it just like we did before when we brought Genesis over.
Yeah, you just gotta go back to the main page and use the compendium to import it again.
Yeah, you should be able to. It's turned on both ways, so you should be able to.
So, I'm assuming we were here for a while because simulacrum takes a while to do.
Oh god,
It
casting
says
took 12
cast
hours.
in 12 hours.
With 1500 GP worth of ruby dust.
That is a long cast time. Are we staying 12 hours? I mean, I don't mind. You're welcome to. Nothing's immediately threatening you or trying to hurt you, so.
I mean, they could
Honestly,
also
give
cast
me
it with a
a
wish.
second to figure out where to stupid character. I'm importing and it's not working.
They could also just cast it with a wish.
So I've added it and I see it twice now.
Okay, let me see. I don't see them here. I don't think. Oh, wait. Nope, don't see them here yet. Of course, I might need to refresh. Let me refresh. Music will pause for a moment. Zill, no, still do not see them. Hang on.
Okay, I've completely ruined it now.
Ruined what?
The import, because I imported the character. I don't know.
Hang
I'll have
on.
to, like,
I got you. Let me see here. we're bringing Istu over, right?
Right.
So I'm not doing this backwards. Into Sigil Confidential. Oh,
So you have
Isn't-
the wrong one.
Isn't Istu from Sigil Confidential?
Yeah, but when I transported it over to the Cairn one, I thought we'd be playing on just the Cairn one, so I updated the Cairn to level 20, and this one's still level 19, and it has all the old spells.
there.
Oh,
Istu is
okay.
there now. I will put them in the character folder. There. Make sure they're in your journal just to be sure. Yep. Should be there. Crisis
I'm just
averted.
bad at the game. I'm just
No, you're good. You're good. This is fine. It's good that people at home get to see this. Because even us, hardcore, 10 million viewer professionals, have to deal with this. It's good for them to see it. It gives them a sense of hope for their own smaller channels if they're a new streamer, right?
Okay, I refreshed it, and the one that I see here is still level 19.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the one I carried over.
You don't see a level 21 that's in the Cairn?
That's 19. That's 19. That was the only one that was there.
Oh no.
It's okay. Just bring her up to speed. Or bring them up to speed, sorry. It's one level.
I changed all my spells though. So.
Okay. It's okay.
Alright. I'll do that. I'll be doing that. That's what I'll be doing.
That's fine. It's all good. It's all good. We're good.
Yep.
So are we resting are we taking basically a long rest for the 12 hours and everybody healing up, resting, getting some food, refreshing anything that needs to be refreshed? Group consensus?
Yeah, sure. Well, I might give Az some time to get his thoughts sorted.
Is there anything you want to do specific?
I think grief chain, like the existential dread, is starting to really understand duty and responsibility, and he has to he dread, like the dread, it comes from knowing that he has to do something that he does not want to have to do.
What do you think that is?
If Shah's dead in front of him, then he's going to exercise his divine right of inheritance.
Uh-oh.
There is nobody more worthy of safeguarding her power, and nobody higher in the food chain to claim it.
Are you going to try and claim her power somehow?
Yeah, I'm gonna siphon off, and just absorb her mortal form.
Okay.
She's just gonna melt under my touch, and I'll absorb and lay claim to everything that was still remnant there. And that'll take maybe some time,
Okay.
because he's gonna do the same thing to Sinifei.
Oh, that is going to be a minute.
He's just going all out, huh?
If something could do this to them, then Az needs to be stronger than they were.
is very funny. Listener was going to ask you what is the appropriate burial rite for the divine.
You consume their flesh and make it your own.
See, there's not really a precedent for that.
Yes.
There
Very
kind of
sincere.
is. There kind of is. It's how they formed.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, as her highest-ranking eldest child, her power is mine.
Okay, so you're going to attempt to siphon a dead goddess's power.
And lay claim to it as my own.
Okay. All right. So, while Istu is doing their thing, that's what you'll be doing. Sounds good. Hey, is anybody else doing anything fancy?
I'm struggling.
Very shortly into Az beginning that, Jimmy actually walks up to Wilhelm and Genesis. He says in a quiet voice, "Hey, listen, can I ask you two something?
Uh-huh.
Your tall friend over there, blue gentleman. Is he got his head on straight? Because he seems to be absorbing a goddess."
So, define straight.
If he had the powers of the divine, would you be disturbed by this development? Would that be cause for concern?
Wilhelm's just gonna look over a little he is perplexed.
I don't know what the answer to that is, honestly. I mean,
Don't.
if he can do it, more power to him. But like, the whole divine right thing just goes right over my noggin. I have no idea. You know, I'm trying, but I don't know. You know.
Yeah, that's kind of my concern, is the whole "it will be substantially more power to him" question. I mean, if he's got his shit together, I'm happy about it. We could use a little hand here.
His heart's in the right place. His mind may not be at point. I don't know if that's reassuring or not.
Now I don't know how to feel.
Not the most helpful of answers, but we're trying. We're
Yeah.
doing things.
Ah, well.
Honestly, that's probably above my pay grade.
Yep.
That's a
Same.
good way of putting it.
You get used to it after a while. You're looking better, though. You seemed a little sickly there for a minute.
There are lots of things going on. I broke down. I probably am gonna break down again. I'm holding it together at the moment.
That's better than a lot of people. You're doing good.
I
You're doing good.
kind of,
Listen,
my actions killed someone. That is not allowed. I'll get back to that later, though.
there's a blank look on Jimmy's face while he mentally reviews the many people, intentionally and otherwise, that his actions have killed.
It's a long list.
He puts his hand on your shoulder. He says, "I'm sure you'll make it. I wish you the best. But listen, I wanted to ask you a question. I can kind of look at your face, and I can tell you're from my neck of the woods, or I guess what used to be my neck of the woods.
I'm benevolent. If that's what you mean.
No, I'm afraid on that we could probably not be further apart. But no, I mean you're from the city. You're from like the Becht Heartlands.
Yes, I am up back. Just born and raised.
I really hesitate to ask, but I mean, how's it doing down there?
We're dicks.
That was true before.
Kind of filled with self-importance.
That was also true before.
Mm, the world, if you look beyond back, the world is broken from my understanding from history. I am a student of history, so depending on how long ago, I'm probably familiar with your time. The world has changed. A lot of it, a lot of the backs, especially those higher up, seem to pretend it hasn't changed as much. And there's quite a few that don't want to take any responsibility. So, human nature.
I really doubt that's changed much. But, I mean, this is going to be a tricky question. How many people are still alive down there? For a long time, I figured that number was going to be pretty close to 0.
Quite a few.
Oh. Okay.
All the races, for the most part, have at least had some sort of presence. There are a few that have been lost, and he flicks his eye over to Sinafe at this. And quickly looks at Az, actually.
Mm.
The halflings, no more. Quietly.
Ooh. That's a rough one.
Elves as a whole have, when their soul tree was destroyed, kind of broke them.
Jimmy looks back at Az a couple of times himself.
That's what killed the halfling.
The hell did the halflings have to do with the soul tree? They didn't reincarnate.
No, but driven to violence.
Oh, that's especially rough. Oh, this makes more sense now. He looks back and forth.
This is something that actually does make sense, yes. So much doesn't, but this actually does. All the different races, for the most part, have survived in one way or another. And we have a couple new ones. And he waves towards listener.
I wasn't gonna ask, but yeah. This is weird, all right? He looks at the two of you now. I kind of expected I would get back here to mourn a completely dead world.
This is weird to you? You have a snake person, and you are friends with a dragon.
He used to be a little less draconic. He was like... He makes a gesture with his hands. Smaller. He was a bit smaller back in the day.
A small dragon.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's from here, man. Istu, I admit, you didn't see Istu's type round Cairn much. I didn't see any of them until we got to Sigil, but no, Draken was from here.
Does the name Draken actually mean anything to Wilhelm?
I mean,
you can make a history roll.
Genesis popped off about the entirety of Stapleton Investigations when we met Maury, and everyone heard that story when we were sitting around the campfire that night. Or that day.
That's gonna be a natural 1!
Damn.
And still
I don't know
Nice.
anything about that.
Oh man.
Still pulled it.
I think it happened now.
The
Jeez.
ability checks, you only count the raw number. Like, you know, there is no crit
Yeah, it's
fails.
good that it's good that you got the ones out now. Like
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing it later.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
13 is the score.
Yeah,
We'll
it's it's not really ringing any bells right now. It's kind of like maybe familiar. I don't know.
But world has changed, but there is still plenty of good in it. My order, the Benevolence, we try to help. We are healers.
That's good. That's good. This is a lot to take in. I'm gonna level with you.
I oh, trust me, I know that feeling real well right now. I don't know. We're still standing. Another day has passed, and things are still working. I think that's all we have.
You know, with that warm and fuzzy sentiment, I think now is a really good time for me to ask Az to roll a D4 for me.
D4s are fun.
Very stark distinction.
Ouch. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let me get my pen.
Exciting.
Give me a D20 roll, please. Actually, we're gonna need 4 of these if you want to just go ahead and knock them all out one after the other.
Why is he writing things down? Oh my god.
And I wanted to do something.
You're welcome to. Go ahead.
Okay. I would like to take the Book of Halfling Names and lay it in Sinupei's lap. Because that feels like a better place where it would belong.
Okay. No, that's very nice. That's very kind. I think she would appreciate that.
Your people are remembered.
I'm so excited to see what takes 4d20.
The damage to all of us when he explodes?
Permanent reduction to his hit points from trying to absorb a goddess.
Rat 2.0 as we die from an explosion. Oh god, here we go.
Oh, you had to roll a 20 too. Okay.
Oh my god.
20s are good, right?
Oh boy.
No.
No, 20s are powerful.
No, not in this case. This is bad. Okay. Oh god. Okay. Okay. Oh my god. You like really made the bad rolls, Az. Come on. Blaze it.
It occurs to me listeners in blast
I have
radius,
a-
but I wouldn't have moved.
I have a small question for you.
What you got?
This isn't like a save or anything. This is just part of what he's trying to do, right?
No, there's no save in this. No.
This isn't like something that would be impacted by silvery barbs, perhaps.
No.
Okay.
No, this is on a much grander scale than
I thought so, but, you know.
He got the pin because he's got to rewrite some lore.
I did have to, I did have to ask.
There's no
Has
harm.
it been-
So, as you're siphoning from this corpse or corpses, almost right away you feel like something's not right. It's almost like on a spiritual level, it's like you're drinking stagnant, rancid water. and you can feel it working through you.
Yeah, it's been sitting here kind of idle for a while.
So we're gonna say
Mhm.
we're gonna break this up a little bit into. We got what, 12 hours? So within the first 3 hours, I'm assuming like you're in a maybe what a seated position in front of the body.
Mm-hmm.
Your usual kind of yoga type pose.
Yeah.
Okay. So you look down at the end of this first 3 hour period, right? And you've been just steady draining and trying to make sense of the power that you're playing with and trying to bring in and integrate into your own body, your own spirit, your own energy. And you look down and you all across your torso, the lower parts of your arms into your hands and fingers, the skin has just turned black. You've got these black splotches all over, and they smell kind of rotten.
It's kind of nasty.
That's not normal, is it? Is that normal?
Well, so far it's just Az that's noticed. I don't know if he's going to show anyone or...
Nothing I ever do is normal.
That's also fair. That is also very fair. Do you want to continue, Az?
I think so.
All right. So you continue. So Istu's doing their casting. Jimmy and Wilhelm are kind of catching up on Karen's history. What are the rest of you guys doing? Anything in particular?
Genesis doesn't know what this process entails, but she would be concerned, especially since Jimmy was mentioning it, that it's kind of unusual. So she's kind of looking over to make sure he's going to be all right, and seeing if there's anything that she can do to help while we're, settling in and resting and stuff.
How close is Genesis looking?
I don't really need to be right next to him to look at him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of as close as I can look.
Okay. Give me a perception. How about that?
Okay.
I like perception rolls. Everybody likes perception rolls.
I think you know what's happened here. I don't have a Genesis in Sigil, so let me just...
Oh, that's the one I was supposed to bring over, huh? Was I trying to bring over the wrong one? Is that what the problem was?
No, I needed Istu there, but I don't have both of those.
I can fix that. I can fix that. Watch this. I think.
Yeah, it's just all manner of work now that I messed it up.
I thought I could. Why am I not finding it? Oh, maybe I need to do that. No. Couldn't find it.
Oh no.
I ain't done yet. I ain't done yet. Here we go. This two is in Cairn. Yeah, Cairn. No, not this two. Genesis. I have so many games. There it is. Okay. Abyssal coral weed. No, that's not what we're looking for.
What?
Look at that. Look at that. We will put Genesis in Sigil. Alright. I wonder if I can do that again with Istu
awesome.
and actually get you your level 20.
I think I got everything imported over.
I'm doing it anyway!
Thanks.
No worries.
Let's keep track of.
Look at that, look at that. Did it work? It did work. There's 2 Istus, but...
Hey, there are 2! Oh my god, let's go.
And one of them is level 20.
Art imitates life, let's go.
Yeah, Genesis is there as well now, so you should be good.
Alright.
Okay.
Perception.
See that?
I'm rolling.
By the power of roll 20, I am G-Man. Sorry. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Tell me at least somebody got that.
Power of Grayskull.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay, thank
I
you.
thought it was Grayskull,
Jeez.
I just didn't want to say it and look stupid if I was wrong.
Yeah, but it wasn't Grayskull. I was using roll 20. Okay. So,
Perception.
as continues on, after we get this roll. Sorry, yeah, go ahead and get your roll.
So
Genesis
I had it, and it's not there anymore now.
Genesis?
No. Great.
Genesis is right here. Watch this. Boom. Wow, I should roll for you more often.
I don't.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I don't see. Oh wow. Yeah, that count. That's sure.
I wonder if it makes. Oh, see, that's the problem here.
Yeah, I just can't see the
Here,
character.
you should see Genesis now. Sorry, I had to add it to your journal. Okay, 24. You notice the flesh around Az's midsection and extremities, like arms and hands, turning black.
Az, is that supposed to happen? Are you okay?
What? Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Az?
What?
Genesis
You're
asking
sure?
you that makes you just really angry. Really angry. You're halfway tempted to just show her the back of your hand.
Oh,
I'll be over here if you need any help.
I will do it. I will trespass into the domain of the gods and make it my own.
Okay. I really don't know what to do here.
That concerns me a lot. As you may want to question if that's your comment.
Jimmy, with that spoken statement, yeah, you'll kind of catch on something sus is happening. Although you don't really know Az, this might be normal for Az, who knows?
There's reason enough for suspicion.
There's always reason for suspicion.
I walk over. I don't look particularly hostile. In fact, I'm specifically not looking very hostile at all. I'm just a little guy. Come on. What harm could I be? I would like to make a quick examination of his body language. Not of his body. I'm not a doctor. His body language.
Why don't you do an insight roll if you want? That's fine.
All right.
Okay.
18.
He's quivering with anger. A flutter with anger.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I'm gonna try to talk him down.
I wish you the best of luck, sir.
Now, big man, there's something you might want to consider before you continue with that.
And that is...
You're trying to absorb the lady and the poison that killed her. And you're not a god yet. Even if it is your birthright, it might kill you before you get to lay claim to it. You could possibly do with trying to purify the heavenly body before you go through with this process. Just smooth appeal to reason, not questioning his premise here that he is the true inheritor of Shah's will and power. Just making a strong argument, see if there's a reasonable man in there.
Sure, Az, I'll tell you what. Let's do a wisdom save.
And you know what? We're in the middle of a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that was actually a 20.
Okay.
Use that 20th level feature.
Okay. As he's very convincing. Like, you look down at the blackening of your flesh and the smell coming off of it and the way that this energy is making you feel. You see the logic behind it. God, is it pissing you off?
I hate it when the fucking mortals are right about things.
More often than not, I hate being right. It's never worked out for me once.
Now, I will say, like, it's persuasion, it's a great role, but it's not mind control, so your final actions are, of course, up to you, but just keep in mind, he has been very convincing, but you're just pissed as hell.
I don't know if you know who I am, really. Surrender is an outcome far worse than defeat. I wouldn't tolerate that kind of behavior from any elf under my service. Why would I allow myself that luxury?
This is a military man, obviously. I was always told you gotta reduce the castle before you storm it. We've come way too far to retreat. Especially from something you have such a good claim to. But, you gotta go about it in a way that's not beating your head against a wall powerful enough to kill a goddess.
Why is this mortal so damn persuasive?
I don't know, Az, maybe you could gain that power if you cut his tongue out and ate it.
Ooh. Tasty.
Oh no. Okay.
Mama always said that was the devil in me, so I think that's more of an inheritance thing.
So, is he just gonna keep doing this, or?
It's up to him. Let me ask this. This might help. Is everyone's attention on Az at this point? With the exception of his two, because they're otherwise occupied. Main ones
hard at work of trying to like.
The main ones I'm concerned with are Wilhelm and Listener.
Listener, yes. Listener was over here. Listener is being attentive to this process right now.
Okay. And Wilhelm, are you as well, or?
Yeah, I'm paying attention because if this goes bad.
All right. So your spiritualist abilities, your natural, just kind of ambient abilities to be aware of spectral presences, right? And I've mentioned,
not including Bryn in that either.
this is a little different. This is like a mutation that causes them to see dead people constantly. Those two, your ability, and I've said before, like even with the living, you can kind of usually see like their spirit flittering about just below the surface of their skin, right? And with some undead as well. You see like this weird, like tangling briar work, this weaving, just almost like tentacles weaving in and out of Az's spirit, like interweaving and almost like taking pieces out, like biting at it and tearing out little pieces of his spirit and replacing it with its own.
Ooh. Okay, listener steps into the fray. Hand on the shoulder to establish a better connection. You know, that spirit's in that body. I gotta poke. I make contact with Az. Is he receptive at this moment?
Az, are you receptive?
You can start shouting in my brain.
Okay. As the darkness is beginning to infest your spirit, I believe it seeks to take you over. I will attempt to hold it at bay for now, but it seems quite powerful. I do not know how long I can do so. And then I begin to do that.
Alright, so tell me what you're doing.
I'm going to make a power roll, essentially. I manipulate spiritual energies. I can boost Az's spirit a little bit. I can make it more resilient.
You try and make it overcome whatever's doing this.
Withstand it. This is mostly a defensive action. Listener has evaluated the situation. He doesn't think that he can actually help Az win this fight, but he can prevent it from killing him while he makes up his mind.
Okay. And Wilhelm, you were about to say something? I'm sorry.
I'm gonna move over as well and try to put my other hand on the other side of Az, like his other shoulder, and I'm gonna back up Listener.
Alright, so an assisted power roll.
Yeah.
Alright.
The juice. We're going to give him the secret stuff.
Alright, well go ahead. Tell me first how many points the two of you are spending.
Oh. This is before we long rest. I'll spend what I have left, I guess.
Okay.
Can I help too, or is this a?
We're doing spiritualist stuff. What you want to do?
Oh, I don't know. Genesis is just like watching this with both hands in front of her face, like, oh god, is he gonna be okay? Are you gonna be okay? Do you need any help? What do you need? Are you alright?
Listener calls back to you basically with this typical method. We'll see if we can keep him alive while this other one talks him out of it.
Okay, I'll be over here. I'll be
So-
over here.
How many points are we using?
I got 8 left. I'm using 8.
8. Alright, Wilhelm, what are you dumping in?
I'm gonna use all but 2, so 6.
8 and 6? Okay.
Yeah. I'll keep 2 in case we need to do something.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys begin to pour your abilities in.
Really substantial spiritual juice. We have done a lot with a lot less than this.
Yeah, and you're attempting to reinforce his original spirit so that it can stave off damage that it's taking, basically. As whatever's coming into him is attempting to imbalance his spirit. So let's see here.
The
You
thing
begin
about Az massive soul on this guy. Huge.
Oh yeah. He is tapping into a goddess, though. 2 goddesses.
Yes, that's true.
So you guys begin to do your best. Let's get your power roll in to start with. Don't forget to add the 14 points, I think.
No, I'm throwing that in there for sure.
Yeah. Okay. 43. Okay.
God damn.
It's beefy, and there's even like a visible effect as the 2 of you begin to pulse power into Az.
This man is going Super Saiyan 2 right now.
Yeah, he kind of pulses.
He's
power.
gonna grow hair.
Sprouts a cool beard again. Foam. So let me see here. Genesis.
Yeah.
Bryn.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to think. I think it would just be Genesis and Bryn at this point that would notice this. Based upon your power backgrounds, let's say. Bryn being kind of attuned to strange energies to begin with, and Genesis being the mad, crazy, mentalist, psychic person that they are. So, as this energy pulses into Az, the 2 of you, it kind of almost like a, I love this word, a palimpsest around you, like an image behind reality, pulses at the same time. And just in those little moments of these pulses that the 2 of you see the very threads, the fabric, the weave of reality straining. You see those threads slowly pulling apart. And there's something on the other side. Eyes in the dark.
Ooh.
Vicious teeth gnashing, drooling, tongues lolling. You begin to hear the faint sounds, just the 2 of you, of gargling and growling and unintelligible gibbering slowly beginning to seep through.
Can we stop it, or is it just this is happening?
How are you going to stop it?
Oh, I don't know. Fucking terrified. What the hell is that?
And this thing is seeping through reality?
Reality is pulling apart, like the fabric that holds reality in place. You're watching it strain and stretch and start to potentially
counter-argument. Counter-argument to this ungodly realization. You say reality is tearing apart. What if I were to say no, it's not?
No, it's not.
Can I just convince reality that it's no? We're gonna just bring those tears right back together, stitch it back together. No one saw anything. It's all fine.
You're gonna pull your flip flop off and be like, "I'm warning you."
I have provided you a gift.
I threaten reality with the chancla. Yes. I don't know if that's allowed, but how about if I just tell you no? Can I do that?
So a verbal no won't do it. But are you wanting to attempt to use your power to basically claw every ounce of power you have and try to hold the fabric of reality together?
I would like to attempt to do so. Yes.
Okay. I'll let you try, definitely.
Yeah, we're gonna use some stuff here. Where is it? This one? Okay. I don't have these. Oh,
This is
okay.
getting interesting.
So you know what happened, right?
What?
Because I don't have the macros,
Oh yeah,
I
I don't
don't
think I
have
can
the
carry the
menus.
macros across here.
No, that's my bad.
That's alright.
I think I can do this. Yeah.
Okay.
To assist and shield myself in case this goes really badly. I just I'll put 8 in as well.
Alright.
Change that.
8 points of power. Alright.
So do I roll
I need your power ability basically.
plus the 8?
Yeah, plus the 8 points that you dumped in.
Um,
27.
Ooh, beak.
Solid. Alright, so Genesis, you kind of lash out almost without really thinking about it. Like you see this and you're like, nope, this can't happen.
Is it a 27 or a 29? Because this text says a bonus to hit.
If you have a bonus, then by all means.
29 then. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, 29. Perfect. So you kind of lash out without a second thought. Like you said, you see this happening, you're like, no, this can't happen. And so you just kind of brace, like you guys see her physically, like just like take a wide stance, put her hands out on either side. You know, her face is masked, and you see her hair just kind of fly up and start kind of flowing around like she's underwater, and you feel this pulse of power come off Genesis. And she immediately begins to kind of groan and grunt and sweat all over as she is like straining beyond anything you've ever seen before.
Question for you, Church.
What you got?
Would the energy that is pressing through the fabric of reality, I assume right here by be eldritch or aberrant by nature?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. There's probably a little C, D, and E in there too.
Because Jimmy's been some places,
Uh-huh.
and he's
Yeah, you detect
unfortunately attuned.
You detect it. In fact, Jimmy,
Yeah.
you detect some very familiar energies.
Do I hear a flute in the distance?
Uh-huh, you do.
Jimmy's face goes perfectly blank. And he says very loudly and with none of his earlier diplomacy, "Big man, something's coming through. Are you stopping?" You have 5 seconds before Jimmy reacts.
Alright. And I do want to ask, just to be fair, Bryn, are you doing anything during all this, or are you just...
Yeah, Bryn is going to echo Jimmy, like, basically, and say, there's something coming through the fabric of reality and tearing it apart.
Okay.
4,
As...
3.
Your call.
Yeah. I mean, it has to come closer so that I can
2.
stab it.
1. Does Az breathe?
Yes.
As there's a face full of powder being held up against you by Jimmy right now.
Ow, achoo.
Church, what do those elf drugs we picked up actually do?
Oh god, yeah, elf drugs. Where did we get these again?
They were cube dust. We picked them up off the ship.
Cut to me randomly just flipping through pages in my notes, like, what?
I'm trying to remember it myself, honestly.
We found them in our exploration of the various tunnels and cavities.
While going through Nether's Deep?
No, not Nether's Deep, of the ship. The big boy.
The scrubber tunnels.
The horror specs.
Oh, the Cylindia.
These are future elf drugs.
The Cylindia drugs.
These are space drugs.
Were these just random drugs, or?
You tell me, man. Jimmy identified them as drugs. We did not test their effect apart from his guess that they were some sort of recreational sort of drug.
I remember the ones you're talking about now. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it an upper or a downer?
We about to find out. Hopefully it incapacitates you enough that he can drag you off of this. Jimmy is not fighting that thing again.
Give me... first off, are you... I mean, I don't want to just say he gets an instant hit. Unless you just want to let it go for narrative purposes. You're allowed to.
I think for narrative purposes, we'll just let it go, I guess.
Okay.
I think that's fun.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Much easier. I'd really rather not have the two of you end up in a fight. That would be an all-day thing.
We'd be here for hours.
Okay, so give me a con save at disadvantage. Still rolls a 25.
God,
Unbelievable.
Az is tough.
he real tough.
Jesus, I don't know if this is gonna make it worse. As you're tripping balls, you feel pretty good. You're still kind of angry and a little bit disoriented and confused, but man, the colors and people's faces are melting a little bit.
Oh no.
I use this temporary confusion to lead him away.
Okay. Az, what's your call on this one?
No, like if it gets closer, then I can stab it, and then it's fine. Like it has to come closer so that I can stab it.
We're mortals.
My man, I did stab it. Let me tell you, it doesn't help.
We're weaker than you. We're gonna all fucking die.
I stole the power to kill several gods, and it did not do shit.
Its teeth are bigger than your wingspan.
I have wings?
Your arm span.
You might right now.
We're gonna die.
At least in your perspective.
You might have them now, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
You're probably feeling great. You know,
Do
you
I
got
have
the elf
wings?
drugs.
oh my god.
You've got 43 points of spiritualist coursing through your soul.
Az, are you
Mm-hmm.
breaking concentration on the siphon? Let me ask that.
Yes.
Okay.
I think they've distracted him well enough.
All right. As you break that connection, the palimpsest that you were noticing, the stretching of reality, kind of slowly melds back to what it should be. You see some things kind of push and prod and poke from behind a few times, like they're angrily just growling and yelling. But then it kind of goes quiet.
Haha! Not today! Not today!
As Genesis falls to one knee. Ow, ow, ow.
Jimmy's leading Az over here. We're gonna prop him up against his back against the wall over here, away from the goddess.
Oh my god!
He looks over at Genesis and he kind of mouths, "How did you do that?"
I don't know!
Thank you. Just getting Az settled.
Genesis takes a hand out of her pocket and is what's the term? Uncurls her fingers.
Yeah.
Unclenches.
She's still holding that stone in the palm of her left hand, like so tight it leaves an impression, and she puts it back in her pocket. That's the stone of Grunholm.
Mm.
The determination from that, and it's been really trying to make sure we don't all fucking die.
It's all good. So no, you guys managed to leave Az away, who probably abruptly gets incredibly distracted by the pretty colors. Probably goes in singing or making poetry or doodling in the dust on the ground.
There we go. Normal elf things.
Yeah, all things above. It's a really pretty temple.
The black spots on your body, they stop smelling, but the necrotized surface, the black tint to your hands and fingers, your upper arms, bits of your chest and your torso remain. There may be a way to fix it, but for now that's a permanent scarring.
I'm too stoned to notice.
I'm afraid we match now, old friend.
Hey, Rot Brothers.
Y'all need to stop doing this. Can you stop damaging your extremities?
It comes with the territory for my
Can't
people.
Fucking healing you.
I'm not certain it's as good for Az, though.
I just fixed this.
Hey, geniuses, maybe next time don't die.
Seriously. At least I'm not the one who died this time. Again. I really need to deal with that.
So,
Listener comes over to consult with Wilhelm. That was a most unusual energy. I believe had we done nothing and had he continued, it may have consumed his soul from the inside out and taken its place.
Interesting.
Jimmy?
Have you encountered?
You sounded like you recognized that energy.
Oh yeah, that's the other side. That's the far side.
That's the Eldritch plane you were on.
Yeah.
Steve turns around like, what? What happened?
Uh,
Oh, well, never mind.
you probably don't want to know. In fact, it might be bad for your health to know.
Istu just lowers a welding mask for no reason.
See, they know. They understand.
just sitting here not doing nothing.
There are places even the
making another
gods should
read.
not walk.
Well, that was exciting.
I
Were you
wonder
saying
if
what?
that. I wonder if that infected the goddess. If that's where her anger came from.
Certainly there was something that maintained a connection.
Sorry, I should ask, is this Wilhelm's talking back to listener in his head, right? I don't hear that, actually.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, sorry.
He did have a mouth for a while.
Yeah, that was like... We were elsewhere. Although I suppose he's an artist now, he could give himself one if he wanted.
And he sounded strangely like Jimmy, but much quieter.
Yeah.
Weird.
Listeners spoke like Tom Waits.
Oh, that would be perfectly funny. I can't do a Tom Waits voice. If
Oh
only.
my god.
With Tom Waits as listener.
But
Guest star? Guest star? Guest star?
that's gonna be a tricky one. Not sure he plays D&D.
Yeah. Huh?
So, Az is going to be more or less out of commission with the hallucinogenics for the rest of the rest session, at least. Unless Az decides he wants to do something crazy, because Az's character is Az's character. But if he decides not to, then the rest of the rest will go as intended, no further calamities. Yes, two will get their spell cast, etc., etc., etc. At the end of that, provided nothing else happens, what is the plan?
Plan? Think we have plans around here?
What is the intention?
Well,
Well, we have 2 more domes to visit, right? So we should probably collectivize ourselves and get moving as soon as we can, potentially.
if Az can be talked into it, it may be appropriate to try some sort of actual funeral rite rather than absorbing, you know.
Well, if anybody could talk him into it, I mean,
I
would think.
Yeah, no, I'm on that. I'm on,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'll be over here, out of the way.
Yeah. Jimmy's a bit superstitious, you see. It's bad to leave anybody unburied. To leave 2 goddesses unburied seems just a little beyond the pale.
My guy, you go convince the pants off that guy. Please.
Yeah.
Last thing we need is whatever that was. And mind you, I was over there by my fucking self. Hello?
Slowly constructing. Does Is2 take shape kind of gradually, or is it just like components, pop?
It has to be gradual, I would think.
Yeah.
Do you
It
wanna
takes
build
so
a
long to cast.
snowman?
Oh no.
I mean,
It's Olaf.
he's sort of slowly kind of molding it, I guess.
It should be fairly obvious, even to Jimmy the non-caster, that you are deep in concentration and he probably shouldn't interrupt you.
Well, I don't know. Can you interrupt?
I think you have to maintain
Just talking?
concentration for 12 hours, don't you?
Do I?
Yeah, you're casting for 12 hours.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it's a VSM too. You're doing a lot of shit.
I'm focusing, I'm waving my arms, I'm thinking about it, I'm saying words, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Yep.
So, we'll say you finish.
Ta-da! There's a little bit of a sort of a dazzling display of lights and stuff, like a little illusion that goes up, like, hey, look over here, and the Astus kind of shuffle while everybody else is like looking over there. Look over there! Oh my god!
An illusion of 2 large cups descends from the ceiling, covering the Istus.
Ooh, actually, I could do mirror image and make it even more confusing.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we probably don't want to make things weirder than they've already been.
Yeah, suffice it to say, there's a little bit of a charade.
Everyone's probably a little bit terrified right now.
Yeah.
Some nice, friendly, this realm type of magic. You know? Nothing creepy, nothing scary, nothing terrifying. Just
Part
nice
of me
and
wanted to see that through to fruition, but
easy. Bro, all that would have needed to happen is just me going away. That's all.
that was just step 2. We had 2 more.
Oh my god. We didn't even see the nat 20. Wow.
No, you didn't.
Wild. Wild. Phew. I'm glad that's over.
So, what do we want to do at the end of our 12-hour rest here?
Gonna have a chat with Az. Does he compost mentis again? Does he come back down?
Yeah, elves recover pretty quickly from their drug-induced comas.
Real sorry about that, big man. Tried to give you a reasonable sized dose, but you look pretty hardy. I figured you could take it.
That was a wild ride. You kind of look like the world was ripping apart for a bit there.
That one wasn't the drugs. That one was real. That's why the drugs.
Yeah, I kind of felt like there was a little bit more, there than just my lady mother.
There was an entity that was trying to make its way into you. It was dark. Malevolent. Not something that you would have wanted to mess with.
Let me tell you a quick story. I have a tendency to come unstuck from things. Came unstuck from my life for a little while. That got better. On the way here, I managed to come unstuck from reality, trying to dodge a massive explosion generated by my late friend. He was both late at the time and is late now, technically. The things behind reality are not to be seen. They are not for mortals. They are not for gods, either. And they would like nothing more than to come here and eat and eat and eat until this place is just as empty as their home. I stole power enough to slay any number of gods to escape from that place, and I managed to wound one of its lesser spawn. And if I had stayed there another 5 seconds, it would have killed me.
So you're saying it can be killed too?
I am saying you could absorb both of these goddesses. And it would still squash you like a bug, my man. Some things are not for us.
It's fine, but that's not deterring me from my divine inheritance any less.
You need to really think about why exactly that started to come through when you tried to claim your inheritance. And you need to not do it again until you understand why.
I'll give you that. I've got time.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Look at your arms, man. Those are good, beefy, mortal arms. That's more than enough. That will see us through our time of trial.
We'll see if you can keep up.
Hasn't killed me yet, but we'll see.
There's old Az.
Listener comes over. Az, does your soul feel, normal?
Powerful?
All the bits in the right places?
I seem here.
Listener gives him a quick once-over. Checking for briars.
There's stains, but it looks okay.
There's a little bruising. It's a little bruising. I suggest you double your meditation routines.
So,
Yes, of course. I'm the master of my own soul.
that was almost not true.
It was getting close. Back to Jimmy now. Now, that being said, it seems inappropriate, to me, at least, to just leave him lying here in this state. Maybe we should, We should at least lay him out proper.
It's up to you guys.
What would that entail necessarily? Digging a grave inside this bone dust?
Jimmy surveys how big of a hole would be necessary.
That would take a while, especially digging into bone.
I could
Nah.
I could help with that a bit if you want. Yeah.
Do you want to dig into the bone skull of Rokana? A big hole?
I don't know.
I don't know. That seems risky.
I'm not sure.
I
Like,
mean,
we managed to get by the last time, but that was a mortal. You know, you
All
return mortals to the earth. I'm not sure you're supposed to return gods to the earth.
Alright, you've talked me into it.
Into what exactly? Because
I'll just you guys figure out how to move them.
why?
What? Because I'm not gonna just split the ground open right here. This is still a beautiful temple. We'll do it out back.
So we are doing a burial.
I guess that's kind of against our customs. Like,
So
Hey,
what
you-
do your
you tell me how
traditions
you lay
do
out,
with
Shaw.
what? I mean, we reincarnate. Like, we just kind of dissolve into the tree, and
But
then
as
a new fruit is grown.
the tree is gone as.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with what they've been doing for the last 200-ish years. I've been kind of busy.
Mainly they eat their fallen now.
That's
He
kind
was
of
trying.
gross.
He was
Yeah.
doing his best.
Following tradition.
I don't really eat meat.
We have the new seed. Would it not be appropriate, perhaps, to bury part of her when we bury the seed?
I mean, if we can cleanse the corruption,
Yeah.
I kind of question giving her to the mother without cleansing the corruption.
You know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll do the Saints thing. It'll be all right.
The what?
Yeah, the Saints thing. The incorruptible Saints. You know, if you were a mighty priest, cleric of the gods. This was back in the old days, before my time. Like, when you died, your flesh was supposed to be incorruptible, you know? So they wouldn't bury you, because you're not going to return to the earth. They'd put you up on a plinth. They'd put your coffin on the plinth. And then they put a little hatch in the side, so you, like, opened up and kissed their hand if you were an adherent to the goddess or whatever.
Istu, one of the Istus kind of looks over at Jimmy and is like, you know, I think I have a spell for that.
See?
Ironically,
What spell
Perfect.
was-
Let's just get them outside.
I mean, I was going to use it on you, but you're not dead anymore, so...
Hey!
If we're just putting them up on plinths, then we could do that in here.
All right. Building the plinth is going to be.
Gentle repose.
Oh, well, you look at that.
Should we take part of her?
I don't know if that's.
I wouldn't.
I don't know about that.
I feel like, and again, this is your goddess as, but if we could uncorrupt part of it, her along with the new tree seems fitting.
Everyone's so up in the air. What is the precedent for this?
None. There's
There
none.
isn't. There isn't one.
I don't think we've ever even seen a dead god before, so we're just like,
They usually refuse to stay dead.
It's a pretty uncommon
Well,
thing.
no, what happens is the body of the dead gods floats in the astral plane.
we just throw some holy water on it and say, may this corpse be blessed, and lay it to eternal rest, and shine the light upon them, and may they rest in peace? Question mark.
Aren't the
Most
gods
question
who won?
marks, 'cause I don't know what the hell to do.
Aren't the gods who won the
Let's
ones
just
who
let
blessed the
that one
holy
be
water?
nice and peaceful?
Yeah.
True.
Wouldn't the
idea.
gods be the ones to bless the holy water, though?
It's true. True.
Istu finishes the prayer and just kind of walks away.
Bit of a chicken and egg problem. It's all right. They'll be fine. Let's get a plinth going.
Done. Yeah, we're done.
So I'll speed it along and let you guys build the plinth and raise the bodies onto them and lay them out in a respectful manner, if this is the goal.
I think listener will take this opportunity to ask Az if he can help. The dreamer has granted me her strength, but I've no idea how to use it.
No, we pulling some powers.
Yes.
Pull some powers. All right.
I mean, we're not going to make plinths with our hands like animals.
No, of course not.
Okay. So
Ye-
we're gonna actually use some artist abilities here, right?
Yeah, I think this is time for a lesson.
Okay.
Let's see what you can do. What does the power of dreams give you?
Let's get that power roll real quick. Let's make this
Okay.
interesting.
$17.
Okay. Solid. So listener begins kind of weaving their hands kind of through the air, almost like pulling at some intangible substance that's invisible. And after a moment, these iridescent shimmering strands begin to kind of fold around his fingers and his hands, moving up and down his arms. And bit by bit, he casts them out onto the ground in front of them. Each one kind of takes root, and you see celestial, incandescent vines begin to move and twist and snake up, forming a plinth on either side that immediately like canopies over top of each one with an open, almost translucent substance continuing to shimmer. And as he finishes, each one of them begins to hum this kind of strange tonal melody. But yeah, you got your puns. Probably nicer than you could have built by hand.
How strange. It's like I wasn't really here. Is that what it's always like? As?
Sometimes, but once you've learned to control it, and be more in charge of the power, your visions become more real. The power of creation and destruction is a heavy responsibility.
Listener puts his hand against one of the plinths. Very strange. My people don't really create anything but ourselves, you know? Everything we've ever built, we've built from our own flesh.
Well, now you hold the power of creation itself in your hand. But with it, destruction.
With great power. Sorry.
Be careful to wield it responsibly.
Very fine. It is. Perhaps we should lay them to rest now.
Which won't be a problem. I'll let you guys have that. You move the bodies. With your combined might and abilities, that won't be a problem. Lay them gently, in a position of gentle repose and respect. And I imagine you say a few words, leave a token or two, whatever you want to do.
What sort of a token do you leave for a deceased god? I mean...
The traditional one is the dead bodies of their many adherents, but I don't think we want to do that.
The bodies that were inside the dome have all turned to dust, right? When we got back out of the dream state, they were gone, right?
I think so.
Because there was that dome with the smoke around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was there to preserve the area. And when we woke up, we were in here.
Yeah, we haven't actually walked outside yet.
No, you haven't.
So we don't know if
do
they're
we
still
wanna
there.
Start trying to see if maybe that would be a better place for them to be at rest, or
Nah, we already got the plinths built in here.
Yeah, they're already at rest.
okay. So when we leave this area, we're gonna have to figure out if there's a barrier keeping us in again, right?
Well, most definitely.
Okay. Well,
I'm sure it's fine. What's the worst that could happen?
the Astus hear this and they're like, "Here we go again." This would start, throwing pebbles in the direction of where we're gonna get out of here at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of go off to find some stones and recall where that boundary was before. Do some experiments.
Jimmy's walked over in front of the plinths next to Az, and he says, "You want to go first, big man?"
Yeah, I'll move the lady.
No, I think we did that already. He was suggesting you
Oh.
might want to say your piece first.
Oh,
Dang, I'm on the spot.
how dare you? Shah is gone, and I remain. She was my life. She was the star that lit my path. Her eyes were portraits of a world without cruelty. Without her, only darkness. You will answer for your crimes, Death. You stole her from me, and you will answer for your crimes.
I like the anger.
Yes. Pat from listener. Jimmy gives a brief but traditional farewell for an adherent of Volry. Take off the hat, look down. The road goes on and takes us with it and leaves you behind. But when we stop at the fire, we will look back and remember you. He clicks his heels twice, puts the hat back on.
Nice. Very nice.
Saoirse, who is still hurt, will look at Sinufe and say, "For the goddess of healing, to engage in such a vile act as murdering her own sister. I hope you have the fate you deserve, Sinufe."
Good deal.
That's it.
Okay. Does anybody else have any last words? For them, not for your character.
Well, I mean, Istu's over there trying to, do some experimentation. This is really lost on them both. Like,
That's right.
and Genesis doesn't really worship as such. Kind of to them, to her, burying somebody and leaving them to rest stagnant and still like this is kind of insulting. But of course, she's not gonna tell these outsiders the Ventrite method of putting people to rest, because they wouldn't be able to execute it on the bodies of these deities,
What do they do? Do they burn them? Do they do sky funeral? What do the Ventrites do?
It's complicated.
Nope.
It's lengthy.
She wouldn't deign to tell them. There are things you just don't tell people.
It is something that's very private to the Ventrites.
It's this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, saying words at this is just kind of counterintuitive. But,
Cultural
she doesn't
differences.
look on with a frown or anything. She just finds something else to do. Oh wow, look at that! I'm so busy over here.
Yes, you go over there and do your funeral wrong. That's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Go do your funeral wrong. Okay. So.
Alright. Best we can do, really.
Wilhelm?
Wilhelm's not religious. Man of science. It's good that we're putting him in the ground. It helped fertilize if it wasn't made of bone and the head of a mother. Okay, whatever makes people feel better.
It's more of a communication thing in the end.
So this next dome we're gonna go to, guys, are we gonna...
Who would be up next? Oh god, it's Bodhi, Goin, Shah, Sinufei.
Be Vori, wouldn't it?
Jimmy pauses. I kinda hope not.
It's Vori and there's Zevran.
Come on, Zevran. He's rubbing his hands together. Come on, Zevran. You know you want to go first. You're older.
Have we found at the edge of this, containment area that there's a barrier preventing our exit?
So as you exit the central building that you were in, the first thing you do notice is that the miasma has dissipated. So you can see all the bodies now, and they're just long dead corpses at this point. Everything else is this ghostly ruin of the buildings that were there. They're empty and dark. It's almost like the windows and doors stare at you as you go by. It's uncomfortable. Just the whole place feels like death warmed over. And it's silent in a way that makes your heartbeat pound in your ears. Those of you who have one, of course. But beyond that, no, there's nothing that stops you from leaving. If you are leaving, I should say, sorry.
I believe that's the plan.
Okay.
Yep.
Are we heading out? On to
Off
the
on
next.
to
She
the
looks
next.
at the bodies on the ground and is like, well, I don't have time to do gentle repose on each of you, but there are further experiments previously that we did with the barrier up would indicate that you're probably a gentle touch away from being turned to dust anyway, so it might be redundant to try to cast the spell on you anyways.
Can't we do general repose? Would you take an animate dead? No.
Yeah. I mean... Let me rub my hands together real quick. I don't know. Yeah. Erebus shows up. Ooh. Yoink.
Somebody's thinking.
What
No.
if we summoned him?
They've been here 200 years
Yeah, they've been there a
with
while.
no visible change. They are divine and likely incorruptible, except by the things that have already corrupted them.
Yeah.
Alright, so,
We spare a thought for Erebus, just the same.
pour one out for the old guy.
Mm.
So, we'll move you up once again. The walk is uneventful, dusty, desolate. Things are getting a little more mountainous moving this way. Like the terrain gets rougher. And one thing you do notice, now, Brokana's skull doesn't rotate. It's not spinning, right? So it's like always just kind of facing Cairn.
Yeah.
In an extra creepy fashion.
It's tidally locked.
And you notice as you're moving this way, you're starting to edge, like you can see ahead, you're edging closer to the dark side of the skull. Not quite there yet, as you approach the next point on your journey. Journey.
I would like very much to pull shenanigans.
Oh,
Shenanigans.
alright, I like shenanigans. What are your shenanigans?
I want to have Istu try to cast several spells. Part of my spell mastery is that I can kind of just learn, a level 1 spell and a level 2 spell, and then cast those at will without consuming slots. So I'm just gonna kind of start every minute, kind of casting this spell on different people.
Oh, Lord.
So we're gonna have a bunch of tries to get to that table that I want to get to, right?
Hell yeah.
Alright. Fortune's favor. Okay.
Obviously, the first one will be on myself, right?
Okay.
We're kind of hanging back just in case there's an accidental explosion or two, you know?
Are we doing this like on every party in the party?
We'll say Istu, Genesis, Az, Listener, Jimmy, Wilhelm.
Alright. Let's get your rolls.
5. Cinder?
6, 7. You may as well just do everybody at this point.
So D100 rolls for that.
Yes, please. Starting with the first one.
Okay,
50?
50?
No
No?
problem.
Yes? Okay. 84?
No problem.
40?
No problem.
24. 24. 24.
No problem.
Oh! What is that, only 4 tries?
That's 4 so far.
5, 52.
No problem.
6, 24.
No problem. Wow,
A 9?
Who are we on? This is the last one, so what was it? Cinder? I think it was the
Uki, I
last
think.
Yeah, it was Uki.
one. Uki? Okay. Yeah, give me your D100 roll, please. Another one.
I'm gonna have to try again for Uki later. 50?
50. Okay. Roll a D12.
Oh no. 6?
Yep, perfectly flat even. The halfway point both times.
I I know, right? What are the odds? 3, 4. Okay. S2 collapses.
No! Come on! All right. The other S2 was like,
You were incapacitated for the next minute.
woo!
Just flump.
Aw, hell yeah, let's go.
Unintentional nap.
the other S2 was like, you didn't get enough sleep earlier? You did. Really?
Right. But
Hello?
it's just a minute, so it passes relatively quickly.
It passes with the other S2 just sort of torturing the sleeping S2, like, you know that thing where, like, if you find somebody sleeping and you kind of mess with their nose and then they bat at it, like, you know, that makes...
You didn't put their hand in like, warm water or something, did you?
Oh, no. We don't have warm water here, do we? Like...
I'm sure somebody could get you warm water in this group.
If the thought had occurred to the other S2, I would consider pranking myself that hard, but you know, we're just having fun with it. We're making them think that there's a bug on the end of their nose, and they're instead of enjoying a restful minute of rest, they spend it kind of in the sort of a disgruntling sort of bothersome state where they're kind of like, there's something irritating me while I'm trying to sleep the whole time, you know?
Yeah, all good. Do you want to get Uki when you come out of it, or you want to end it there?
I want to get Uki.
All right, let's get one more roll in then.
They wake out of their slumber grumpy.
That feel when Prim's 2 characters are the only 2 that S2 doesn't cast on. Let it be
89.
known that Master Mist doesn't love Prim anymore.
So
I'm kidding.
89's enough, right?
no, you're fine.
Okay.
You're good. So, unless there's more shenanigans that anyone wants to do.
I'm gonna pop that spell card into the chat so everybody knows they have that advantage.
Okay.
Except for Saoirse and Brand. Meh.
What is this, a second level spell? Where is it then?
I think you already popped it in there once, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just, you know, past the rolls that we don't have to scroll so far.
Okay.
And this applies after advantage or disadvantage per the text, but since we're doing, this is an interesting question. Since we're doing intention based, does that impact what happens with the actual spell?
No,
Or-
it shouldn't. It should function as intended.
Okay,
No pun intended.
fair enough.
So, with that said, as you crest the rise of the dust-covered hills before you, the grim, pale, dust-covered hills before you, hewn into the rugged expanse of Vorkana's skull, opening below you as you crest that hill, is a huge, crumbling ruin of various buildings that just kind of opens up into it's like they're carved into the bone itself, but it looks like somebody went through and just smashed their way through it. Like half of them are just reduced to rubble, everything's just broken, there's dust and chunks of bone everywhere. It's been laying like this for a long time, though, you can tell. As you get a little closer, the first thing you do notice is at one time there must have been a great deal of statuary all over the place. Once again, carved from the bone itself. And the pieces that remain that you can make sense of are very dwarven.
Jimmy, quietly, to himself. Yes.
Brindle will clap her hand on Jimmy's shoulder.
You made it. So, you have reached the stone-wrought bastion, Zevron's domain. The architecture must have at one time mirrored the very spirit of the dwarves. It was stout, it was strong, it was sturdy, it was practical, and beautiful in its own right, in a sense of practicality. Everything was form meeting function in a seamless design, where every accentuation, every artistic embellishment not only was there for aesthetics, but also served a purpose. The dwarves were very good about that. Something that Uki marvels at, I imagine. You do still see, the standard old school dwarven motifs in a lot of the crumbling bits, the crossed hammers and images of forges and anvils and, lots of precious metals kind of woven in here and there. Not that they mean much to you guys. Well, some of you maybe, but most of you don't. Precious metals don't really mean too much because you can't really spend gold anymore, and it can't really forge gold anymore because it's weak. But you'll move through, I assume? Are you moving through?
I think Istu wants to test for the presence of a barrier. This is kind of going to become a habit for them. Just chucking a rock occasionally to make sure,
The moment
we're not
you
heading
pass
into something.
moment you pass the borders, you're locked in.
Okay.
It springs up behind you.
Okay. The moment the last person in the party crosses the threshold,
Mm-hmm.
it's not there before. Okay, cool.
Well, it is and it isn't. It's like a one-way barrier.
Oh, so the rocks don't really bounce off of it.
Not if you're throwing from the outside, no.
From the inside, they bounce.
Yeah.
So if one of the Istus crosses the border and throws a rock, it bounces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's right here. Yep. And we just kind of draw a line a pointless line in the bone dust in the ground. It's probably going to be whipped away by the wind in 3 seconds, but it's right here. Everybody, note that this is the thing. Don't hurt yourselves.
Yep. Duly noted.
So are you guys moving through, or do you want to stop, or do you want to look at anything in particular?
Oh, I mean, really. What's another barrier at this point?
Okay. So you move through. You pass through the shattered architecture all around you. And once again, like I said, it looks like somebody just tore through the place. Like, this damage wasn't neglect, it wasn't over time. Somebody tore through here. But as you get closer to the center, you come into the Forge Lands, this place that must have at one time been a beacon of industrious fervor. But now it's just shattered ruin. The once blazing furnaces and the crucibles that at one time probably birthed legendary dwarven artifacts are cold. The fires are extinguished. It's empty. The buildings that house them have crumbled in around them. But up ahead, at the very heart, at the very center, you do see one building still standing amongst the rubble.
What's it look like?
It's fairly tall, maybe about 40, 50 feet tall, square shaped, like a keep type. It does have crenellations along the top and various kind of Art Deco motifs carved into it.
Well, I suppose this is where our key will be.
Combination
Seems only
of
logical.
defensive position and just plain fanciness, really.
Is Uki alright?
Like I said, I imagine Uki would be marveling over the architecture right now more than anything.
Okay. So there's not like any it's just the ruins, it's not like remains.
No, there's no bodies.
Okay. Nothing that would be emotionally disturbing. Okay.
No. As you get closer, you begin to realize that the rubble surrounding this lone central tower is not rubble. They are hundreds of dwarven statues, every one of them perfect in its form. You cannot tell, like, there's not a scuff or seam from the crafting that you would normally see in a statue. Every single hair is carved to perfection, and there are hundreds of them, and they're all dwarven warriors facing outward from the tower, shields at the ready, weapon in hand.
I suspect those weren't always statues. Church, there used to be souls in any of these.
Are you checking?
Yeah, listeners checking.
Still are.
Oh. How attached are they?
More than attached.
Genesis doesn't really know what to think of the statues, but
Are you open mentally right now, Genesis?
cautiously.
Okay. So at this distance, it's a little faint because you're not up on them yet, right? You're kind of looking at them from maybe a block or two away, let's say. But at this distance, you can already feel this emotionally overwhelming mass of empathetic energy issuing outward from this location, and it's despair, just utter despair, like just a black thumb in the eye of your heart. Despair.
I suppose Saoirse will be feeling that too.
Yeah, once you get a little closer, definitely.
Genesis is sort of looking at Uki to kind of make sure that she's okay, kind of, I guess, open to the emotional states of the people around her in an attempt to kind of make sure everybody's going to be good. Like if this is a dwarven area, I know it's going to kind of have a lot of significance for Uki. So I'm kind of trying to watch out for that. And as this wave of despair approaches, I go from kind of making sure she's okay to kind of, okay, okay, I kind of need to worry about myself so I don't get swept away with this. To kind of put the shields up more and more as we get into this.
Okay.
But we're still kind of watching for visual indications.
I imagine Uki would probably be gun at the ready, wary.
Right.
Are you guys continuing to move closer, or?
Listener's gonna try and speak to a dwarf spirit.
All
Or
right.
statue spirit, I guess, technically. But there's probably a dwarf in there, let's be real.
So you reach out and you sense the presence. The presence is there. There's one in every single one of these. And like I said, it just emanates that overwhelming despair. And as you attempt to communicate, you get this sense that it's almost as though its spiritual voice or tongue has been just ripped out. It cannot communicate. It wants to, but it can't.
I bring this detail to Wilhelm to discuss further.
Okay.
Friend Wilhelm, I believe somebody has engaged in a little bit of spiritual engineering work.
What do you mean?
These statues are ensouled, but the souls within are bound rather tightly. They are incapable of communicating, though I believe this to be artificial rather than innate.
Can we free them? Like if we release their bounds?
I suspect we may need additional power to do so, perhaps once we have located whatever relic that the god Zevran may have left here. That may give us enough authority to do so. And indeed, attempting to do so before truly reconnoitering the building ahead may cause us issues. There are creatures of great power out and about.
I'd like to turn to them.
Okay.
Speak out spiritually. Whether I need to burn a point to like so that it's more resonant for them,
Okay.
as opposed.
So trying to like yell, basically.
I am trying to project my voice to them all. Whether that means like I don't know if hearing is the best way
Okay.
of interact. Whether it needs to be something that's more spiritually attuned to them.
What do you want to say?
We see you. We know you're there.
Sorry, one more time.
And
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
You're
missed
fine.
the first part of that.
we see you. We know you're there. We know you're stuck. We will come back for you. We will find how to release you from this. You have my word. I will return. And we will try to help you.
Are you still saying this at the distance, or have you guys moved closer?
I would have moved closer.
Okay. All right. So your words echo and resonate and whatnot. As you move closer, you can see several of the statues, tears streaming down their cheeks.
I'd like to walk over and touch them if I see that.
Cold stone.
We see you. We know you're there.
Jimmy leans over towards the ghost. Is that statue crying?
It would appear so.
Home's
they-
just not the same anymore.
Are there spirits trapped in those statues? Brim says this aloud to Wilhelm and Lister.
Oh, listener will say, oh, most definitely. And trapped is almost certainly the correct word. On purpose. Built into the stone. Perhaps to defend this place, though. Seems it was not successful.
Well, do you need any help communicating with them?
I have made an attempt at it. It appears that communication with them has been quite intentionally blocked. But if you have another method, perhaps.
I mean, if you Burks have an hour for a seance, I can try.
Perhaps let us achieve the building first. Many dangerous things about. An hour in the open field may not be wise at this juncture.
She'll nod.
Okay. So what do you guys want to do then? Move in, or?
Yeah, casually stroll into the building.
All right, so we are moving
Rattle
into...
my chains of fate. They feel like they've been here before. I have not been here, but these chains are telling me that they've been here before.
This is very
They came out of that forge right over there.
Alright, so I'm assuming you guys can see. I hope.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Oh, Lord, I detect puzzles.
Whatever gave you that idea? Don't be silly. So, you enter into this room. This silent forge. At one time, you imagine this would have been maybe even potentially Zevron's personal forge. Maybe even the forge upon which he forged the first dwarves and the gnomes into life. You can almost faintly hear the resonance of his mighty hammer, like slamming against the anvil. Even though it's in your imagination. Don't get excited. The halls are silent for the most part. But yeah, you do see the glowing embers still burning in the forge itself ahead of you.
It's really a shame that Rat couldn't be here to see this. He would have loved it.
And you had a rodent friend?
No, he was a gnome.
That's what I said.
He'd have taken exception to that. Be careful. I think he's currently the spirit of invention in these parts.
Shots fired. Against
Or
himself.
Revelation back at Goins Citadel.
But yeah, it's completely silent. As you get closer to the center where the forge is, you do kind of hear the crackling of the coals still alight. You feel the warmth coming off of it. Now you do see, those of you who are closer, you do see very specific tiles that stand out in 4 points around around them. A strange triangle, a star, a square, and a circle. Can't really make sense of them other than their shapes. You don't recognize them.
So tell me about these pots that are around.
Just pots, urns.
Nothing special about them, no designs or anything.
You want to go open one?
I just want to look at the outside of them.
They're dwarven make. But I mean, beyond that, there's no noticeable outward features. They're capped with like a wax cover.
So the dwarves weren't much for exterior decoration and ornament, I take it.
They had their style, but it wasn't like I said, form meets function. Even if it looked pretty, it had to do something.
Yeah, but these urn things are not painted or anything.
They have design on them, but
That's what I was asking about, man.
yeah, no, they have design on them. They're not painted. It's built into the structure of it.
What does the design look like? That's what I'm asking about.
Did Uki make it in with us? Because I don't.
I don't know if Uki's been moved over.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
guess I can just say Genesis is kind of hanging near Uki.
You are attacked by the largest pot mimic known to man.
No, I'm just showing you what it looks like.
I know, but you use the same image for everyone. Okay. My real question that I'll just ask out of character, do these urns have designs on them that match the tiles that are around the forge?
No.
Okay.
Genesis would like to ask Uki if there's any significance to the symbols there, while we're looking around.
She wouldn't be able to recognize the symbols, no. Let's see here.
These dwarven chains might, though.
He does technically have perfect knowledge of dwarven culture.
It's true.
And history. And they were probably from here.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to rely on the chains?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're for, I think.
No, this is great. As you stroll up boldly, shaking your chains, each one of them is an elemental symbol. You'd be able to pick that out. They're very old. We're talking the beginnings of Underhome old. So we're talking very old, like predating the elves being created. Did I move one? I did move one by accident. So yeah, we have fire, earth, air, and water.
I'll explain this. These are the very old symbols. The original language. The runic languages. The symbols correspond to the four basic elements.
Very interesting. Jimmy has made a big round of the room, and I have a question for you, Church.
Okay.
I have been carefully examining because I fully expect there to be somebody here. We have not made it to one of these yet without being ambushed by a power.
Nobody's here.
I have a lot of capability to detect them.
Yeah, nobody's here.
All right.
Nobody but
You're
us
100% sure.
You could roll a perfect nat 20 with every bonus known to man.
And it's gonna be a 0.
Nobody.
No
here.
chance.
That's why I didn't make
Perfect.
you roll. I was like, I need to be able to pick it out if there was.
Yeah. All right. That was what Jimmy was doing. He's bringing his attention back to Az now that Az has some valuable insight to contribute.
Okay.
I was sure somebody would be here to ambush us.
Don't be so sure they're not.
Oh, I am pretty convinced.
So if these symbols on the floor are representative of the 4 classical elements, then might we need to put something of that element on top of each in order to reveal the key? Seems likely to me.
One of the Istus would like to approach Az.
Okay.
So I heard you say that you consider gnomes to be rodents.
Well, I mean, it was a jest, but they live underground.
But you don't actually think.
I don't actually think they're rodents, but
That's good. You probably shouldn't talk trash about a species that's been wiped out.
Istu sort of nods and looks as if they would have walked away at that. And then they think better of it, and they kind of, for a second, turn back to Az and say, "You know what it's like to lose someone you care about, right?
I've lost everybody I've ever cared about.
So surely you understand when you besmirch someone who has is invaluable, was invaluable, and will remain invaluable to me, that hurts me, right?"
I apologize.
I accept that. I accept your apology, and I'm sorry for your recent loss as well. Although I have no way to understand the scale of it. I would hope that we can figure this out together, since you seem to be so knowledgeable about these things. If you need any help, which
That's the
clearly
thing.
that's difficult. I mean,
None of this knowledge was ever supposed to be useful.
Oh, that. Speaking of Nat 20.
Hence the existential dread.
Just making an examination of the forge.
The forge
Heavy
itself.
burden.
Yes, particular interests. Physical structure. Any hints of what part of what ritual these tiles may play? You know, these being dwarves, they don't always go in for the really arcane stuff. They like a mechanism just as much as they like magic.
There's nothing. I mean, the forge is ancient, extremely well used. Probably at one time it had been extremely well cared for. The coals is a little surprising that are burning. They're not burning. Like, normally there would be a raging fire in here, right? But there's just coals, like, in the bottom of a barbecue grill at this point.
All right. Does it appear that there were ever bellows?
No,
Or was this purely a magical operation?
hard to say. But we are trekking into the realm of divinity.
Yeah, that's the gods for you, man. They don't have somebody work the bellows. They just call up the west wind. All right, I will ask an open-ended question. Does a 34 investigation uncover anything that Jimmy would be able to comprehend?
I mean, that's a good roll. How eagle-eyed is Jimmy?
His eyes are incredibly sharp, but his knowledge of magic is purely secondhand. So I phrased it that way specifically to say, if it would be arcane, you don't have to tell me about it. I wouldn't know.
Let me see something. 40 foot. Alright, I'll tell you what. I will do this. As you're looking around your eagle eyes, what do your Jimmy eyes see? You do notice it's very faint because of where you're standing in the distance. But one of the braziers that you can see, you see writing along the outside of the brazier itself.
Oh, hello. What do we got here? It's a dwarven script.
Yes.
Hey, Uki, what does this say? Jimmy points at it.
Or there's a few people that read.
Yeah, he has heard Uki's name and understands that she has some dwarf knowledge. He has no idea that Az should know shit about the dwarves. He doesn't know what those chains do.
True.
Genesis travels over with Uki to see what's happening.
Okay.
And stands to the other side of Jimmy.
All right. So, she'll interpret it. It's the one here that you're all around. I take it.
Yeah, I assumed that was it because you measured over to it. But if that's not the one, let me know.
No, that's just the one you saw. That's the one you could see. Let me see here. It says, "Beware the ember that smolders in darkness, for it seeks to ignite the world in its fiery fury."
Hmm.
Are there other braziers around?
There's 4.
Okay.
Alright, Bryn will go look at one of the other braziers and read it.
Alright, the one you move towards.
Yeah.
Alright. Bryn can read Dwarven.
Bearbone penned it.
Good deal. Okay. It says, "In the depths where shadows dance in secret slumber, there lies a force that consumes all in its embrace."
She'll read that aloud to everyone.
Make
Sorry,
the
Did
rounds.
you say
I
that again?
guess.
I was not writing in my notes at all on that.
Well, here, I'll copy paste it. How about that?
Yeah, there we go.
Excellent.
So, the one that Bryn just read. And this was the first one I just read. Alright, and Jimmy, the one you're at right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That one.
Bryn walked up to it.
That one reads, copy. "It flickers with a fierce hunger, devouring the essence of life, leaving behind naught but ashes in its wake."
And the last.
Last one has nothing written on it.
Huh.
Ah, come now. You can't fool me that easily.
You getting a good look at it?
Jimmy gets a good look at it. He thinks for a second. He looks at the inside of the brazier as well, the rim on the inside.
Do you touch it?
Yeah, I'm wearing armor. I can probably touch a brazier without burning myself to death.
Okay. It lights up. I hope you see the flame.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? My screen's on fire.
Yeah, it lights up.
Bryn will go over here and touch this one.
Nothing happens.
You're a wizard, Jimmy.
Specifically not.
Somebody say wizard?
Alright.
I mean, that's some pretty wizard shit. He touched the brazier and it inflamed.
Yeah. Hey, maybe you are a wizard.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's some pretty wizard shit, man.
A snowy owl.
You got a hat. You have to get a different. You'll have to get a hat that's shaped differently to reflect your new standing, Mr. Wizard.
The hat's gonna outlast me, my friend. But Jimmy looks like he's thinking about something.
What you thinking about?
He's thinking about word puzzles, and he's thinking about the orientation, relatively speaking, of these tiles and these braziers. And this one definitively had nothing on it. Even after touching it, he did not see any text.
Correct.
Alright. It could be order-based. I'm not seeing anything that's particularly elemental apart from fire in it. Ah.
Or maybe the positions of the brazier correspond to the positions of the tiles.
That's what I'm thinking, but what it should indicate a pattern rather than anything. So, big man, you were saying it was what? It was earth over there. And this
And-
one was fire?
And fire and
Earth.
air.
Air.
And then water. This one would have been
Yeah.
water, I guess. No poem for water. Huh. Huh.
If those poems even were for the other elements, they all seem to describe fire.
Yeah, it might be
Not
order,
necessarily.
though. We got depths. We have wake, but
Water and then air. The force that consumes all in its embrace is air.
well, I mean, do you think that? I think water more personally. But
You're
that doesn't make sense because this one would be water, and that text is on that brazier over there.
So we move the brazier.
I don't think this is moving, big man. It's pretty well stuck.
Or we light something within its flame and then bring it over to one of the tiles. Wonder if there's anything in these urns that would help with the puzzle. They do seem to be sealed off.
Hmm.
Do we dare open one?
I dare a lot of stuff. I mean, we're standing right in front of one, like, your wax seal on it.
Yep.
Well. I detect no powerful eldritch energies emanating from the urn.
No.
How heavy is it?
You could lift it with some trouble.
I haul it a little ways over here, like out of the way. And I close the faceplate on my armor, which is actually an Eva suit.
Okay.
And then I crack the seal.
You crack the seal. Okay. This one here.
Yes, it would have been that one.
Okay. It's filled with peat.
Like the moss?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Huh. There's just fuel.
Oh,
Not really like the good stuff, it's just like swamp fuel. It's the moss.
Well, that's something we could use to ignite and then take that fire over to these tiles.
Yeah, we might have to do that. Yeah, I gotta think on this one. I'd like to make a proposal.
All right.
We did skip our break today.
We did. We did.
We got a puzzle to sort out. We're not sorting out the puzzle tonight, I think. I mean, we could probably just we could fuck around for a little bit and try stuff, but you know, I'd rather come at it fresh next time. How's everybody else feel?
Up to you guys.
I would agree with that, personally.
Any other takers?
I'm good with that too.
All right.
Yeah, it's getting late.
I believe we have a quorum.
And it's Easter tomorrow, so, you know.
Yeah, I gotta get
It's
up early
true.
and do
It's
stuff.
true. Well, no, I'm perfectly okay with that. I know I put a lot of work into this one.
Yeah.
It was fun. I haven't done a lot of neat little map tricks and whatnot for you guys in a while. And
Yeah.
Have we been here an hour yet?
In the building?
Right.
In game, probably not.
Okay, good.
No. But yeah, no, we can cut here and pick it up fresh next time. It is a big riddle, puzzle type thing. I mean, you're on the right track there. I'll be curious to see how well you guys do.
We're on the right track with moving the braziers.
I don't think the braziers are really movable.
No, you're on the right track trying to figure out the puzzle. I mean, that you understand that it is a puzzle. So you're on the right track in that regard. As far as how to figure it out, I'm not going to even give you a tiny hint.
Yeah, please don't tell.
No. Yeah, I was AFK. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. This is going to be a fun one. I think. Well, maybe.
Agreed.
It could be horrible. It could be terrifying.
Like a good puzzle. Like a good puzzle.
It could be devastating, dangerous, lethal even.
That's normal. Standard.
I hope you guys had a good time. Tonight was a lot of roleplay tonight, which was interesting. The impact of finding 2 dead deities that's big. I'm glad the gravitas of that moment was not lost on, especially the certain characters that it's a really big deal for. So that's good. But yeah, feel free to puzzle over it in the next week. No pun intended. Talk amongst yourselves as well. You know, see what you can figure out.
Give it a think.
I will. That one's water. Looks like it says fart now. That's funny. But yeah, we'll pick back up. Of course, Wednesday, we're back with Storm King's Thunder. Thursday, we're back with Zombicide. Friday, we should be back with Star Wars. And then Saturday, World of Karen returns. And we will pick this puzzle up, hopefully get it figured out, and move ever closer to the grand finale of this insane, vast campaign that we have been on. So you definitely don't want to miss it. Of course, be sure to check out YouTube. If you want to check out all the previous episodes going all the way back, with a few exceptions. We missed 1 or 2, but it won't ruin the story.
We missed more than 1 or 2.
We missed 3, 4, 10, whatever. But yeah, go check them out if you haven't, if you want to get caught up. And join us in the Discord. But beyond that, thank you guys for playing. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for streaming later on if you do. And we'll see you soon.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right.
Goodbye.
Good night.